Oh, look, they're absolutely beautiful. I think they're Arctic terns, and they are so gorgeous. I love them. Hi there, my name is Lavinia Mitchell. I'm a researcher, an independent researcher from the UK. I've been studying pilot whales for a year or so now, and I found that quite extraordinary, that one species of animal going over an invisible border could be going from being fully protected, whereas when they go over that invisible border, they become persecuted and hunted. First of all, they're very big. The long-finned pilot whales, the males can grow up to 8 metres and the females up to about 6 metres. They're very dark. They look very much like a torpedo. They are not very acrobatic like a lot of the other toothed whales. They like to spy hop. That's the major behaviour that you'll see them doing, where they'll just pop their head out of the water to take a look and see what's going on. One little trait that I think is wonderful, they have like synchronised diving. So when they're hunting, their squid is very, very deep. And obviously young pilot whales can't go really deep because they can't hold their breath that long. Some adults will go down and they will hunt for the squid while other adults stay at the surface with the youngsters. And I find that quite unique and quite interesting. I'll never forget the time, it was recently this year, I was in Tenerife where I was studying the short-finned pilot whales. I remember one day we were out in the water and we came across a pod of about 30 pilot whales, and that's the beauty of a long-term study. After sitting and looking at 600 fins and trying to identify individuals from it, they were actually able on the boat to say, no, we don't know these guys. There was some youngsters there was some older, there were some very large males within the group. It was quite a hold your breath moment. We are in pilot whale soup. They are everywhere. Firstly, they are matrilineal, so that means that they have a female that will lead the family. Family unit may be anything from 20 to 50 family members. When they come together in the Faroes, it can be anything up to 500 animals together. What we hope is a mix of families that have come together, and the males will take the opportunity to mate. The females will bond with other females from other families. The youngsters get an opportunity to interact and develop their social skills with other youngsters. The typically characteristic is that the whole family will stay together, which is why we see mass strandings. And it's also one of the factors why it is quite easy for them to be hunted in the Faroe Islands, because even if an animal is in distress or if an animal is unwell, they won't leave each other. The bond is so strong. So my own research has focused on looking at the abundance of pilot whales in the North Atlantic, and all of the figures say that there are hundreds of thousands of long-finned pilot whales in the North Atlantic. However, I wanted to explore, is that one big population of pilot whales, or is it lots of little families of pilot whales, which then leads us to something called demographic independent populations. So it's similar to, you have a very, very large town, and there are thousands of people living in that town. But you have lots of families. You have the Smith, the Jones, the Mitchells, the Clarks. And if you take all of the Mitchells out, it will still look like the town is abundantly healthy. There are still many people there. But what you have lost is the genetic component of the Mitchells, and also the knowledge and the social history that you're losing. So because in the Faroe Islands, the animals are hunted as a large collection, my research led to the conclusion that these hunts provide us with an opportunity to do this is at those hunts start genetically testing amongst the victims. So that way we can start to build a map or a portfolio of the genetic makeup of the long-finned pilot whales in the North Atlantic. Last year I volunteered with Sea Shepherd here in the Faroe Islands. I was part of the Stop the Grind campaign and had to witness a Grindadráp, which is the traditional hunt in the Faroe Islands where the long-finned pilot whales are herded into a bay and killed, and then the meat is distributed amongst the community. I came here wanting to understand the hunt better. I came here so I could see it for myself and have the opportunity to speak to local people about the hunt. As a marine biologist, as a researcher, my work is with the living. There's no words really. These wonderful animals just laid out. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand why the people of the islands could not see what I could see. These pilot whales are sentinels of our ocean, and I couldn't understand why, instead of persecuting them, instead of treating them as a commodity, they didn't see them as the sentient beings that they are, and how they didn't want to embrace them. The long-finned pilot whale is a barometer of our ocean's health, and I think now is a time for us to start to look closely at these very misunderstood, this very enigmatic, this very socially complex species. Enough is enough. And these animals, they need to be protected.
Fish, I imagine.